Before the sizzle, before the steam, before the first bite melts into memory, there's a story. A story made of corn, of heat, of time. Tacos and burritos may seem simple, but they are the result of centuries of technique, tradition, and invention. Today, we follow their journey, not from the plate backward, but from raw to ready, crafted step by step by hands that remember and machines that don't forget. It all begins with the tortilla. For tacos, that usually means corn. Not corn on the cob, not popcorn, not sweet corn from a can. This is field corn, dried and hardened, its kernels like little yellow stones. But you can't just grind it up. First, it needs to be transformed. This is where nixtamalization comes in, a process thousands of years old. Corn is soaked in a solution of water and lime, not the fruit, but calcium hydroxide. This ancient chemical bath unlocks the corn's nutrients, softens the kernel, and gives the final tortilla its unmistakable texture and flavor. It also happens to make the dough easier to work with and more digestible. The soaked corn is called nixtamal. After rinsing, it's ground into a soft, pliable dough called masa. Not flour, not batter. Masa is something in between, a thick, sticky paste that smells earthy, fresh, and slightly sweet. This masa is rolled into balls and pressed flat, often with a hand press or in industrial factories with conveyor systems. Each disc is a blank canvas, still raw, still pale, still waiting. Now, the griddle. Known as the Comal, this is a flat, blazing hot surface where the pressed tortillas are cooked for mere seconds. You'll know it's done when it puffs, steam trapped inside, expanding the dough like lungs filling with air. The puff is a sign of a proper tortilla. No puff, no magic. Thousands of these cook simultaneously in modern factories, guided by belts, flipped by arms, and cooled by air tunnels. The end result is something ancient made with modern speed, stacked warm, wrapped, and ready for the next step. For burritos, the base is different. Flour tortillas, large and soft and built to hold a world inside. These start as wheat flour mixed with water, fat, usually lard or vegetable shortening, and salt. The dough is kneaded until smooth, then portioned into balls, rested to relax the gluten and rolled out. Thin, round, and ready to be cooked on hot platens one by one. Some factories can produce over 60,000 tortillas an hour, but whether by hand or by machine, the principle is the same. Heat meets dough and something delicious is born. But tortillas are only the beginning. Now come the fillings, the real heart of tacos and burritos. And this is where things diverge into endless, mouth-watering possibilities. Let's start with tacos. One of the most classic forms is carnitas, slow-cooked pork. It begins with whole cuts of pork shoulder braised gently in their own fat, often with oranges, garlic, bay leaves, and a hint of cola or milk. For hours, the meat simmers until tender enough to fall apart under the weight of a spoon. The outer piece is crisp. The inner parts melt. The fat renders down to golden oil. It's not just cooking, it's alchemy. In industrial kitchens, the pork is loaded into massive tilting kettles, thick stainless steel cauldrons that simmer meat in shimmering oil by the ton. Once done, it's shredded, seasoned, and portioned. Then there's Carne Asada, grilled beef. Traditionally, it's flank or skirt steak, marinated in lime juice, garlic, cilantro, cumin, and chili. On hot grates, it sears fast, locking in flavor. After cooking, it's chopped fine, each bite charred, juicy, and rich. Chicken tinga, barbacoa, chorizo, al pastor. Each has its own story, its own spice blend, its own preparation method. Al pastor, for instance, is cooked on a vertical spit like shawarma, slowly shaved into tender, crispy strips. Sweet, spicy, and smoky, often kissed with pineapple. In taco assembly lines, all this is portioned with precision. Robot arms drop meat into warm tortillas. Sauce nozzles squirt measured drips of salsa. A sprinkle of cilantro here. A squeeze of lime there. In small taquerias, it's still done by hand, faster than the eye can follow. Tortilla, filling, garnish, serve, repeat. Now let's build a burrito. If tacos are small poems, burritos are epic novels. The fillings are richer, the scope wider, the ambition greater. A standard burrito starts with that oversized flour tortilla, warmed just enough to make it pliable. Then comes the rice, steamed white or seasoned with tomato and spices. Then beans, black or pinto, whole or refried. Then the meat, grilled chicken, barbacoa beef, carnitas pork, or spicy chorizo. Then toppings, sour cream, guacamole, shredded cheese, lettuce, pico de gallo, roasted peppers, onions, corn salsa, jalapenos. The order matters. Too wet at the bottom and the burrito will leak. Too dry and it won't hold together. The goal is structural integrity. A good burrito is not just food, it's engineering. In fast casual restaurants and factory kitchens alike, burritos are assembled on long stainless steel lines. Each worker handles one task. Spoonful of rice, ladle of beans, tongs of meat, a flick of guacamole, a dollop of crema. Fold, roll, wrap in foil. Next, in mass production, burrito assembly can be semi-automated. Conveyor belts move the tortilla. A hopper drops fillings. Rolling arms spin it tight. Sealing bars wrap it snug in foil. Machines can make thousands per hour. But still, in many places, it's done by hand. Because sometimes human touch still does it better. In frozen food facilities, burritos are flash frozen after wrapping, locking in flavor and texture. Then packaged, boxed, and shipped across the globe. But fresh or frozen, handmade or automated, every burrito owes its success to balance. Too much filling, it bursts. Too little, it's flat. The perfect burrito is dense, warm, layered, and neat. It holds in one hand. It feeds your soul. Back to tacos for a moment. No story of tacos is complete without the garnishes. Tacos aren't topped like burgers. They're dressed with care. A sprinkle of diced onion, a flicker of fresh cilantro, a dash of salsa, roja, verde, chipotle, habanero, maybe crumbled cotija cheese, maybe pickled red onions, maybe a drizzle of crema. Each element adds a note: acid, fat, crunch, heat. Together they sing. In many places, salsa isn't just a topping, it's a process. Roasted tomatoes or tomatillos, garlic blackened over flame, chilies toasted until fragrant, blended smooth or chunky. Each region, each family, each kitchen has its own signature version. Once assembled, tacos are plated or packed, burritos are wrapped or boxed, and the journey ends where it always does, with you about to take that first bite. But if you look closely before you eat, you'll see what it took to get here. The fields of corn, the grind of masa, the fire of the griddle, the slow braise, the careful chop, the practiced roll. This is food that carries centuries. It was once made at stone mills and open fires. Now it's made with hydraulic presses and conveyor belts, but the spirit remains. In the end, tacos and burritos are not just dishes. They're craft, they're labor, they're memory wrapped in dough. And whether made by a grandmother's hands or by a precision-guided factory robot, they're built to do one thing: bring people together.